with Nikki Rothwell, and she's the expert I'm going to talk to about this little bug that we call the spotted wing Drosophila. Tell me, what is the big difference? What's the big difference between this one and the regular vinegar fly?
So, well, it's interesting that they're part of the same genus. So when you look at the regular Drosophila genus, that is the vinegar fly. Mm-hmm. But this came from Asia, and so it showed up here in Michigan in 2010. It's not from here, so it doesn't have any natural enemies that kind of keep that population in check. But the most unique characteristic about the spotted wing Drosophila is the female ovipositor, which is the egg-laying device. In most Drosophila, they have kind of a straight-sided egg-laying device, but she has a serrated ovipositor. And so in most cases, regular old vinegar flies, they wait till fruit is ripe or overly ripe, because then they stick the ovipositor into that overly ripe soft fruit. But in this case, the SWD female, she can actually saw into the fruit with this serrated ovipositor. And so the fruit doesn't have to be ripe or overripe, and we have data that shows as soon as the cherry, both tart and sweet cherries, lose that green color, and then it moves into what the growers call straw color, that yellowish color, she can actually saw into that fruit at that time. Yeah, so growers have to make sure that they're protecting fruit potentially for a longer time than they traditionally would.
Now, I did some reading, and originally this guy shows up late in the season. And how is that changing? How is that whole population thing going?
So this is what's concerning for me. We've been trapping for this pest throughout Northwest Michigan for, this will be our 4th season. So originally when we started catching it, and back in 2012, the populations would really start rising in September and into October. So we wouldn't catch those first flies until, late August, September.
Way past cherries.
Correct. So we thought, piece of cake. We're going to be out of that. When that population starts rising, we're going to be finished with cherry harvest. Then 2013, we started catching those flies at the end of July, and then last year and the year before, we started catching them at the end of June. So it seems to be that we're catching them earlier and earlier, but then the potential for that population increase, it's starting to overlap, unfortunately, with cherry harvest. So we're really trying to put the science behind this to help growers make really good decisions.
About the cycle of sprays, the kind of sprays,
exactly.
All of that. Okay.
Yep, all of that.
How is this related to or affected by climate change?
Well, I mean, first of all, we know that we're getting more invasives in general, and I think that, we're moving things around, and we are, we thought originally when SWD was found, spotted wing Drosophila was found on the West Coast, we thought in northern Michigan, we're going to have really cold winters. We're not going to have a problem with this pest. So we were frankly quite naive to think that it wasn't going to overwinter well here. And then the other thing that we saw this year, we tried to put some data to this, the population really increased quickly, and it got away from us a little bit. So we looked at these accumulation of heat units, and we found that we actually accumulated 50 more heat units from probably mid-July to the 1st of August in 2015, and we compared that to the last 5 years. So is it climate related? Well, I think it probably is. If we're gonna have warmer weather, remember that these pests can really crank through generations. And so if we get warmer weather with proper moisture, we may be facing, more and more issues with this pest because it can move through generations so quickly.
So it sounds dire, but you have also said that there are some lights in this process.
We have a really great industry in the cherry industry where we have really good commitment with growers, processors, researchers, extension folks. We've always worked really, really well together. But I think if anything could bring the industry closer, it's been this pest.
Really?
I mean, I feel like we've really had to address this. and I think I told you this before, it's a game changer for our industry. You know, our growers have always really prided themselves on being those good stewards. Our growers have been really early adopters of integrated pest management. They want to do the right thing, and so that's really caused them to reach out to folks like us here at the station to really help them think strategically on how we can work together to solve this without abandoning the good things that we do.
Right. Well, thank you, Nikki.
Oh.
Thanks for explaining spotted winged Drosophila, the dreaded little bugger.
It is a dreaded bug, that's for sure.
And also for the work that you do. I really appreciate it.